I'll do some raw honey off your chest.
What?
Wait, just to clarify, you were kidnapped as a kid, right?
Yeah, just been dealing with grief, learning to deal with grief and finally accept it. I've been numb for so long.
Full disclosure, if this episode ends early, it's because these things really fucked us up and we didn't want to show it on air. So.
As I don't know if our viewers know, but our oldest son is autistic, and
No.
and I'm like,
My aunt was having a baby, and my mom made me miss school and everything, and took me to go watch her delivery.
Literally grabbed this giant salami and he would say, "Hey, Jackos," and he'd put it right here. And then my grandmother would look at him and said, "Put that shit away." I'm smelling it like it's smelling salts. It doesn't smell like anything. All right, you doing with us, right? Okay.
Welcome to You Don't Say That podcast, where I succumb to tobacco. Not just peer pressure. Peer pressure.
No, this has hold on.
peer pressure. It's a non-tobacco, smokeless nicotine.
Oh, it's
Tobacco.
nicotine.
It says right here, tobacco leaf free.
Okay.
Nicotine pouches.
So what does that mean?
Place a pouch underneath your upper lip. Enjoy for up to 20 minutes.
To me, if you haven't started now, like by this point, why start? You know what I mean? If you haven't ever smoked cigarettes before or like used,
But that's not fair. I was smoking with you yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
You smoked yesterday?
I mean, for me.
He hit the joint twice.
Oh, that's perfect. That's all I can't.
I'm not doing this.
He slept like a rock.
I was a giggling,
Yeah.
goofy, sleepy.
2 hits max.
It was great.
Yep.
I'm not,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing this to start a new thing. I'm only trying it for the pod, like to see if it does sharpen my mind a little bit.
Yeah, that's all it
think you
takes.
need-
Just one.
Yeah.
I've done these before, and I never got addicted. I haven't had one of these in like over a year.
But here you are again.
Over
now.
a year?
You get
That's not an addiction.
You feel shit like you get a little buzz or something.
Yeah,
Yeah?
that's why people.
Right.
I know Shane is fucking addicted. Well, they all do Zins.
Yeah,
Shane and
yeah, but they pop. They have like 3 or 4 in at once. They'll spit them out. They put them right back in.
so
New
Jonathan
ones.
does. John
They
has
just
like
stay.
What do you do?
2
Upper
at a
decking?
time. Upper deckies.
They do upper deckies.
Yeah.
So get this. They have ones that are 6 milligrams, and these fuckers will put 4 in at one time.
Upper
Nico.
deckies?
Yeah,
What
so they
the
got
the
fuck?
goal.
Hey, so
Okay,
John's,
Steiny. You're like, get the fuck out of here.
John's probably the guy that does 6 milligrams and does 4 at one time. So
Probably.
he'll have 24 milligrams in his mouth at once.
Okay.
It's a lot of mgs
I
in your
mean,
mouth.
A lot of days.
I was vaping like a decent amount of nicotine out.
Yeah.
I mean, I smoked regular
Did your
cigarettes.
vapes have tobacco too or no? Just nicotine.
Is this THC? No.
Well, yeah, no. Well, the vapes. So previously, when I was smoking cigarettes, when I stopped smoking cigarettes because I switched to nicotine vaping, and I mean it's a tobacco-less thing, you know. And what I ended up doing was like going down in nicotine. So then by the time that I was like down to like 2 milligrams of nicotine in it, then I just like didn't want it anymore. But then, yeah. So that's how I ended up like quitting
I'm just not
smoking.
I'm not trying to do these all the time because I don't want to get like mouth cancer.
Yeah, I
I'm trying
mean,
to find out if I want to do it all the time. That's when
It says right on the
get it.
front. This contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, let's find out.
I mean
I don't want to throw up.
yeah.
I want a solid throw up.
Fuck, if I get sick, that's gonna be some content, and I don't. Fuck.
That's why I'm saying wait till the pod. No, like come on, dude.
I
Let's get-
mean,
if
It's
I
gonna be
get
a short episode. If it's a short episode,
No,
you know
no,
why.
you'll be back.
It's a short episode.
if I get
15 minutes. Here we go.
if I get sick from this, I'm gonna go pound a beer and be okay. That'll probably make me throw up even more. And we got these on deck if we want to, you know.
Yeah.
We also
I
have
don't
some raw
wanna do
honey if you
that.
want to do. I'll do
I
some
don't
raw
wanna-
honey off your chest.
What?
I'll are you hairy right now too?
No,
Oh, really? You shaved? Because that would stick all in your hairs.
I trimmed it.
I shaved all 3 of my hairs.
Really?
All
I shaved-
3 of them. I
I don't
shaved.
know.
Shaved my top
I
hair.
don't understand how Mikhail's so
I
big
should've-
but doesn't grow hair.
Luxurious,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's so smooth.
I'm built.
Yeah.
Like
a-
amazingly.
a
Like,
seal.
yeah, really though. He's
if that's a good thing. Like a seal.
Seal. That's
Like a-
funny.
like a
really though.
dolphin.
Yeah. I mean, it just both of your like hair ethnicities,
Sure.
both of them have, I guess, I'm assuming minimal body hair.
I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, this
Not some hair Mexicans.
his arms
next-
have
especially
so
the
little
women.
hair,
Especially- oh,
right? It feels like he shaves his arms, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like his arms are so smooth.
That's a melanin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So
I don't have like werewolf back. Like
he has like
I do. I got patches. I got gnarly
he has
patches.
maybe 20
Yeah.
chest hairs in like his whole
my
chest.
my upper back gets hairy, but that's not that bad. It's these patches underneath my shoulder
Your
blades.
wings?
What?
Your wings?
Yeah, they look bad.
the
And they,
hell?
I
Still got
swear, I'll
wings.
shave them, and a week later, there's hairs that are like this long. They're like super growth hormone hairs.
Mm-hmm.
Get off the roids.
I'm not on them. I want to get on them.
Oh my god.
feel like I'm drunk.
Anywho.
Anywho, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just roll into the intro. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the You Don't Say That podcast. Episode 11. It's been you know what? Let me ask you guys. We've done 10 episodes so far. How do you guys feel? It's been since we started in November. We're in April.
I feel great.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the podcast experience?
I mean, still learning, definitely.
Like-
but
Uh-huh.
kind of excited to see where it goes
Yeah.
and what we end up doing.
Yeah. What about you guys?
It's fun.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
biggest takeaway for me is I had always heard like how much time goes into it.
Uh-huh.
It's not just sitting around bullshitting with your friends. It's a lot
Mhm.
more.
Yeah.
And I always believed them, but not until we got into this, I was like, wow, like this
Mhm.
really does take.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And just being able to like casually see my friends every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's
At
I think
least.
the biggest part. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen Sal, even though but I've seen you now every 2 weeks for the past couple months. Seen you every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like prior to this, I probably hadn't seen Sal in a while.
Yeah.
We go every couple
Yeah,
weeks, if not a
everyone-
month, every other month to see each other.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's like now it's cool. Like I got to see my guys.
Yeah.
You know, and my favorite white girl.
Hey.
It's okay. I'm one of the guys.
Hey.
But I think that's the biggest part. It's been fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm really appreciative that you guys are doing what you're doing, because if that wasn't getting done in the background, a lot of people don't see that. We wouldn't continue to do episodes, right? I mean, we could, but you're not. You guys do a lot of work on the back end, and I'm extremely I'm thankful for that because maybe I don't have as much bandwidth. I mean, I'm always willing to help out and stuff, but it's really exciting to see it grow. I just checked on my way over here, and we almost have 200 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy because when we first started, I think we were 5 episodes in with 32 still or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But more than all that, it's really fun. It's fun to do. It's a like Adrian said, it's a really cool way to see each other consistently. And then I personally get a lot of joy out of seeing those reels. It doesn't matter what reel it is. Sometimes we have these 3-4 hour long conversations and I forget everything we talk about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then when you see a reel, it's like you're reliving the moment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even though you were there,
Mhm.
you're reliving the moment and it's so entertaining
Mhm.
and it's really cool to see.
That's
Right.
how I felt watching the boys pod.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
reliving it because I didn't remember half of it.
You're like, so that's how that went.
That's what happened.
And I just hope that I just hope that the audience gets something out of it. I hope they like listening.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
At least we get to like make memories and like keep the memories because they're on video, you know.
Right.
So
yeah.
And it's such a balance, I think, for us to like either be, funny or provide value and do both and like try not to, it's hard to find your lane,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but I think we're slowly like making that way to like what we can provide for people, but also like, entertain as well. And I think that's like the best balance. So to me, it's just been a fun puzzle to try to figure out with everybody. I'm happy I don't got to do it by myself.
Mhm.
I love seeing the growth, whether it's 1 follower a day or
Mhm.
Right.
however many that
I
was.
know
in 2
last
weeks.
last episode we were like, oh, we're gonna maybe do something when we hit 100 followers, but
Yeah, we gotta scratch
we
We gotta
by
up
the
that.
time by the time that we were even done recording
Maybe by
the
500 or
podcast, that
something.
episode, we had already surpassed 100. So
Yeah.
maybe at 500 followers we can figure we'll
Right.
do a giveaway,
Yeah.
And
a candle and
Yeah.
right.
something.
I
So
love like dissecting what works and what doesn't from
Yeah.
other people as well. And like how much of a psychology game
Mm-hmm.
YouTube or social media just is, like, as a whole.
You gotta learn the
Mhm.
That's
algorithm.
super interesting because you really don't pay attention to the nonchalant things people do,
Yeah.
whether it's the title of their video, the thumbnail, the picture that you put up on there, and the words that they use to pique interest in watching their video.
Yeah.
And you don't even think about it,
Right.
but you just see a video. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'll use YouTube as a search engine
Mm.
for a lot. Because to me, it's a video explanation instead of me reading just
Right.
text.
Right.
So to me, I'm not just Googling. A lot of times I'm YouTubing it too.
Yeah.
And
YouTube University.
and to see people's, so if I'm looking at how to fix this or how to do that, you have a full list of videos. What made me choose that one video that I chose to get my explanation? It was probably something on the thumbnail that
Mhm.
stood out that made me
Mhm.
want to choose it, or the title was precise to what I was looking for. So that plus so stuff like that, I
Mhm.
never, until you're making thumbnails or
You
trying
don't
to,
realize it.
you don't think about it because you
Mhm.
just put up a picture and you're just wondering why aren't people clicking it? Or why did this one get more clicks than this one? Well, maybe the title was more legible in this one. Our
Right.
faces were more, I don't know, just clean. You know, the cutouts, the background remover, whatever was better on this one. The colors were different on this one. And it's kind of cool to see the trial and error on what
Right. People
I love
don't
that game.
people think that like being an influencer, social media, they think that it's a piece of cake and
No.
oh, anybody can do it. No.
No.
No,
And well,
it takes a lot of work.
that's what makes it so hard.
Mhm.
Anyone can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
But it's who's got the drive, who's
Yeah.
going to keep it consistent,
who's going to separate
Consistency.
themselves?
Yeah.
Consistency is one
Mhm.
aspect, and then like finding little ways to kind of
There's like
get
almost
better than the
you're
next
almost like
person.
using a psychology
100%.
behind it of what you're gonna put out, what you're planning, how you put the thumbnail, how you
Well,
everything, right?
Right. So
So
I saw something that I want to try, and it tells you to look at your analytics and find the point where people start. We'll just say at 1 minute during your video, you probably have 100% retention, right?
Mhm.
100% of the people that click are probably watching at least a minute of your
Mhm.
video. But you want to get to the point where you're at about 30%, where it starts falling off to the 30%. And at that point, you should start advertising or asking for people to subscribe in a more intentional, formal way. Almost like you know how people will put an ad in their video at certain spots.
Mm.
Um, someone was prescribing that if you want to get the best results for subscribers, go to that mark in your videos. Like usually, like for us, it's been around the 25-minute mark. It's not that bad considering how new we are. People are willing to listen to us for 25 minutes on average before
Mhm.
they
It's
start
not bad at
before
all.
they start clicking away or whatever out of a
Mhm.
2-hour video. You know what I mean? Obviously, we want to get better and
Right.
you want to reach 100% retention rate, which is never possible, but you want to try. But so at the 25-minute mark, we would like almost like interrupt the video and like plug in a quick little pre-recorded, hey, you know, if you enjoy our video, you should, you know, please subscribe, support us, this and
Yeah.
that. It goes a long way. And they have data that shows the amount of like how much it can exponentially grow your subscriber rate by just doing little things like that.
Yeah.
I love hearing the gamifying like ability of YouTube or
Right.
just social media. Right now, I'm really diving into YouTube, but
Right.
the social
How
media
to
aspect as a
use
whole,
the algorithm to
yeah,
your
yeah.
benefit.
So I wanna
Yeah.
have just little pre-records that we can just kind of take turns doing after each episode, just really quick. We'll throw it in around the 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there,
Yeah.
and let's see what happens, right? Like that's to me, that's all part of like the game of doing this. Like if you want to do it, I think try to be the best at it. Do like figure out little advantages like we would do in anything competitively,
Mhm.
you know?
All those little things stack up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Because
know?
you could have 10 different podcasts, right? And some of them could be doing 6 out of 10 things, and some of them could be doing 8 out of 10 things, and some of them could be doing 10 out of 10 things. And there's probably a higher likelihood that the ones that are doing 10 out of 10 things
Right.
have a little bit of an edge.
Right.
And that little bit of an edge is
Mhm.
sometimes the difference.
Yeah.
Uh,
They just put a little bit more effort
right.
in these things that
Little
other people
details that you
probably
brought
do.
up,
Mhm.
like a thumbnail,
Yeah.
or even the title of a thumbnail.
Right.
Sometimes you got to make it salacious. You know, there's
Right.
different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think one thing too, talking about the journey up into what, episode 11 now?
Day 11. Yeah.
Has also been some of the behind the scenes conversations that we've had. We've had some tough conversations
Oh, yeah.
about you know, different dynamics of the podcast, and I think we've all found a way to communicate with each other and say, okay, this is just a puzzle we're all trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And we're going to get better the more we do it and find a groove, and it'll just kind of we'll just be locked in. But a lot of people, you don't hear that about podcasts. You see really successful podcasts and you think everything is just perfect, right?
Right.
They don't have tough conversations. They don't have all this work that's going on in the background. All that's part of it too.
For 100%. We tune in usually on episode like 100 and something.
Yeah.
When we finally tune in to some podcast or whatever. But whenever I hear people talk about their journey in YouTube or podcasting or whatever, it sounds very similar. Like first couple episodes are going to be rough, and you just slowly get better and better
It's
and
like,
better.
It's like
and
stand-up
better.
comedians. You always hear
Yeah.
you got a bomb.
Yeah.
You got a bomb. You got a bomb. You just learn from it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Is there anything that is there something that stands out as like probably the hardest part about doing like this part of the podcast stuff, like actually recording?
I think just being vulnerable, like being
That's fair,
able
yeah.
to like have those hard conversations that like a lot of people don't want to even have with themselves, but to put it out there and
Yeah.
really, you know, letting people in to your feelings, your thought, your life, you know, without knowing them. I think that that's the hardest part, is kind of really what you want people to know, but
Right.
not,
to an extent.
but not holding back, you know, like, because I do want people to like relate. I want to relate to people, you know, so yeah.
Being vulnerable is tough.
Mm-hmm.
That last episode was hard. Super
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
I mean, but that's life.
It was necessary. To me, I felt it was super necessarily relevant. Like everything just aligned perfect to talk about it. And that was just kind of how I felt in the moment. So it was kind of like, you know, I get it, you know.
It was a heavy.
I usually would have just kept it to myself and just like probably just had one-on-ones, just been like, hey, whatever. Pretty much how I told you on Sunday, pretty much how I would have just been talked about it.
Yeah.
But like I guess like in the moment, have to dissect how I'm feeling and talk about it out loud. And it was almost a therapy that I've never done therapy, but that felt very therapeutic afterwards, especially rewatching it.
Yeah.
Right.
And like seeing like, oh fuck, I could see it building on my face. I could see it like, you know, when I'm speaking the things that I'm saying, I'm like, oh fuck, held it together there. And then I was like, I could tell when right as it was about to happen, I was like, okay, broke down.
Yep.
Bam,
Yeah.
perfect.
Hey, a good cry is powerful,
Perfect.
man.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's like a
And who
cleanse.
knows how many people may have the similar type situation that, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, you feel isolated a lot, right? You know, with being having a single parent. And so really talking about having that possibility of like, okay, how do you feel about that? And if you have the ability to meet and talk to or whatever to this person, what would you do?
Right.
And I think that setting that boundary or making that decision openly, I think that will enable people to make that decision, make their decisions for themselves.
Hopefully people connected with that
Mm-hmm.
with you,
Mhm.
right? You know, you were very vulnerable, and I hope that it resonated with some people that might be going through something similar, and maybe it gave them the strength to make a decision.
Yeah.
Right.
These conversations feel like therapy.
Mhm.
I love them because I don't know. It's an opportunity for people who don't know us or people who do know us. They don't probably know the types of conversations that we have, that we actually have. And
Yeah, like when was the first blowjob?
You're the one that brought it up.
Oh, ever, right?
Ever.
Ever
To
in the
be
history
clear,
of
not your
blowjobs.
first,
Yeah.
but ever.
Not his first.
Speaking of which,
That was last week.
Speaking of podcasting, what was your
Especially
guys' first?
right, especially considering like bathing habits until like modern time. Like
When you're in the throes of passion, you don't give a F about bathing habits.
I do. I don't want to smell your freaking
Back in the
cottage
caveman
cheese
days,
dick, like
they saw a woman and was like, I just know that I need to
No.
put this and that's
Sure, but that's like
Reciprocal.
So exactly, you want to put this in that, but at what point do you want to say I want to put this in your mouth? You know what I mean? And at what
That's
point
kind of
is
like
she
the
like,
basis of a
yeah?
conversation.
maybe
We're
somebody
like,
tripped.
well, somebody was like, "Damn, that's an ass. I see something come out of it. Maybe I'll put my tongue in it."
Right.
Who came up with that?
How
idea?
did that conversation start? But it happened. Somebody had to have been the
Somebody
first.
did it.
Somebody had to have been the first.
Probably a white woman.
Their DNA is somewhere in
So
the.
you guys are saying someone saw an ass and just had to have been the first person to like want to bite, want to.
They had to.
Not
What-
even-
What led to that though?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like what led
Psychedelics.
Yeah, something for sure. Like or
Maybe
who,
like a dog. Like dogs sniff ass, and maybe like
who
just in their instincts.
yeah, who decided that licking somebody's asshole?
Maybe
was,
they
like,
thought,
a
yeah,
good
this is how
idea.
dogs say
Like-
hi to each other and greet each other. Maybe we should give it a try. And then somebody licked it and was that feels nice. And then well, let me see if this feels nice and then put something in
No,
there.
no kink shaming, but some people might be into like I don't know, putting collars on and dog mask, like a leather dog mask. I've seen
Oh,
that shit.
like
Right, and
dominatrix?
who,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
decided? And that's like a big community of
Oh,
people.
I
who,
remember.
like, what?
I was gonna ask him if he remembers. We had a coworker, not him.
Dominatrix?
He was my coworker, but not this coworker.
Okay.
That he was walking another coworker employee
A human being,
on a leash,
Oh my god.
butt naked.
At work?
not at
Where?
work, in in the privacy of their home. You know, not to kink shame again, but I never met anyone like this, and he was such a normal person. You know,
Seemed straight legs.
hired this guy thinking
squeaky
he was
clean.
utmost professional, you know, clean cut guy, and just come in the office one day and to see a video of
Oh my
walking
God.
someone on a leash,
He-
but naked,
he was-
through an apartment complex, if I remember right.
But no, it gets worse. They were both butt naked. They were both butt naked. The walkie and the walked. Here's the best part. They were in an Airbnb,
Oh yeah,
and he got banned from Airbnb for life. And
They got cameras on it?
he thought he thought it was a little crazy to get banned for life.
That's
Well,
not that's
yeah.
that's normal. I would ban
No,
you.
that could result in jail time.
Well, this was in public too. They were outside the
Yes.
Airbnb, so that's a crime.
Yes, like public exposure.
And this person
like,
may or may not have been in a relationship at the time.
Wait, with a man or a woman?
with another person.
Both were in so it was a man and a woman together, and both were in relationships with other people of the
And it
opposite
was two
sex.
guys.
Heterosexual
Heterosexually.
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But who was getting walked? The guy or the girl?
the female.
Female.
Oh,
The guy was walking her.
That sounds really crazy now, but if you think about back in the day, Snoop Dogg showed up to the VMAs with 3 girls on leashes, and they were walking like
Yeah.
dogs.
But
That's
weren't-
kind of crazy.
no,
But they were
but-
naked.
Okay,
They were
but
naked.
I guess they weren't naked. So
what I'm
naked.
wondering is,
Okay.
yeah.
because generally there's like a large community of people. At what point in time did like that become like a fetish? Like what year? I mean, I'm sure somebody could answer this. Like,
What year?
yeah,
1921.
no,
we said
it's probably-
1800s.
Yeah, it's probably
like the
gotta
king-
be
It was
like
1700s.
Like the kink shit, probably like early 1700s.
I think the first
I'd say,
blowjob
like,
was in the
medieval
1700s.
Shit.
Yeah, when they
Like,
started, once they got that board to like
Yeah.
torture people, they put it on like they did some freaky
I think
shit.
first blowjob was 1700s, and I think first time anybody did anal was the day after.
So
Oh my God.
blowjob,
Hold
anal, electricity,
Um,
then.
Wait, where did electricity come from?
I'm just trying to figure out timeline in history, like where
Jeez.
these things came.
Oh, like we created the blowjob. We created anal, and then we created electricity.
Right, we had to address certain things before we can get to productive.
I mean, I don't know about you, but
Crazy.
that's my order of importance.
Priority, right?
Yeah, priorities.
Come on, I'm just.
Adrian, would you rather have lights or would you rather have a blowjob?
You can get a blowjob in the dark, right?
Yeah,
Case closed.
case closed. Any lights? Sometimes it's better in the dark.
Oh man.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, someone may even lose their virginity in the
Yeah,
dark.
you might even accidentally have to spit on somebody.
All right. Anywho,
Wait,
you finally got that.
way over my head. I caught that super late.
Oh yeah, that was a good
You
one.
bastard.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh.
Well, we touched a little bit on what I went over on the last episode, and just to provide an update, assuming you watched the last episode, quick recap, really quick recap.
Recrap.
Why can't I say that? recap.
Because you need one of these nicotine pouches.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that right after this. Okay. Because I don't want to lose my train of thought real quick. Quick recap. I talk about a tough life situation that I'm going through where okay, so my father, quote unquote, who I've never met, sorry, I met him once a year or two ago. It went well, but never really followed through on further meeting each other or kind of getting to know each other. Whatever, left a sour taste in my mouth, whatever, obviously. But up until then, 30 plus years, never met him, never cared to look for him, whatever. My little brother did, tried to reach out, kind of ghosted my little brother too, but three-ish weeks ago, got the news he's actually dying, cancer. And I was left a tough decision on whether I wanted to go say my last goodbyes. And I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And honestly, I never came to that full conclusion on what I wanted to do. But we just got news as of yesterday. He has passed. Regardless, where my personal thoughts and feelings on him, I still extend thoughts and prayers to, the rest of his family, what they're going through. It is shitty because at the end of the day, he was a good person. He was really nice. The day that I met him, super nice guy, cool guy. I could see why, he probably was a good dad to the people that he was around. Me personally aside. But yeah, I just wanted to give an update. As of yesterday, he did pass away. So I never went to go see him, do any, I don't know,
Closure.
reconciliation of
Yeah.
any type. I was still figuring that out. So whether I will look back and regret it, who knows? I don't know. That's all part of this
The decision has been made.
this life. These are my decisions, and I'm fully okay with where I ended up in those that decision making process so far.
Mhm.
Did you think you had more time?
I did think I had more time. I don't know if you were to tell me like, hey, he's gonna die on this date, like how much I really would have like went or changed my mind. I can't honestly say that necessarily would have changed how I would have went about it. But it is shitty knowing that there is no more decision to make.
Yeah.
So anything that needs, like, to me, it just all needs to be done personally, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I felt like, honestly, I really had locked down pretty well, I guess, So
Mhm.
Do you feel like you were waiting for something to change your mind? Because I felt like we both, or you felt like
Yes
you
and
were
no.
like, no, I'm not doing this.
yeah, I'd say yes and no. Yes and no, just, after hearing everyone's recommendation, letting something, whether it was like a religious feeling come to me or whether it was like a realization that I may come across in my everyday life that
Or
changes my
needing
mind.
closure, or
Sure, something
yeah.
that I hear might
Yeah.
strike that now feeling closure and I'll run over there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my true thoughts and feelings like now, even as of a week ago, was like, there's really nothing for me to say or do that'll change if I go see him in person. I have nothing to say. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing to really close. I pretty much understand what happened now in its entirety, and a decision was made, on his end. So I can't change that. I am the kid in this thing, and I can't force someone to like be part of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like what we talked about earlier too, like you put the ball in his court. You did everything that you could,
Right.
And you can walk away from it knowing I did everything I could. There's nothing more I could have done to change it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in it. It seems like you're in a good place with it.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
for
it's super shitty.
As good as you can.
You don't want
be for-
anybody. You don't want to see anybody pass away.
Right.
No.
Right.
But
Right.
it seems like you're in a pretty good headspace.
Right. And I admitted, I'm potentially open to potential family, getting to know other people in that family because they really had nothing to do with it. If they have every right intention in their heart to come try to meet me, my little brother, or my family, and so on, then yeah, I'm open to, because technically we are related, like they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You didn't
I
ask
would,
to be born. They didn't ask to be born.
Right. So
And it's really kind of like, I don't want to say sad or upsetting, but it's a hard thought to like know that these decisions were made for you,
Sure. But-
regardless of what the possible outcome could have been.
sure.
You know, so
For someone that went through it, I think meeting that side of the family was. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't have a relationship with my birth mom.
Okay.
Probably never will.
But that family you do?
But I mean, Matt, my brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
that's
sisters.
that.
Your
That's that
sisters.
side.
That's
Oh,
from that
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my sisters.
got it.
two
the secret
sisters.
sisters.
Yeah.
Just found out.
Yeah, we just found out about an hour ago.
Shout out to the sisters.
Hello.
I know about Matt. Matt's a good dude.
Yeah, my two sisters, my brother Matt. Me and Matt have a really good relationship. But yeah, my grandma. I mean, my grandma over there.
Yeah.
My aunt, a couple aunts, but
Are they all local?
yeah,
Oh,
extremely local. My grandmother was the attendance lady at the high school the whole time. I didn't even know. But that was my
That's
grandmother.
crazy.
what?
Story for another day. But
Wow.
Is that why
Yeah.
she always hooked you up with extra food?
why would the attendance lady work?
Oh, tennis lady. I thought you said lunch lady. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
No.
That's crazy. Did she know?
No,
Oh,
nobody
okay.
knew. Nobody knew till after. Oh no, I was 17, so senior year going into it. But
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, back to what I was talking about. As somebody that went through it, having that like additional family, like when I found out, Jessica, my aunt, she said that she looked for me her entire life. She always was looking for me.
She
Knew
so
who I
they
was.
Knew about you.
They knew about me, but I had a different name when I was born, so they were looking up the wrong person.
Oh, what was your
every
other
time.
name, dude?
We'll talk about that. That's all. We'll talk about that.
I
later.
knew
Really?
His dead name.
It was
Yeah.
Jacoby. I knew it.
Jacoby. Yeah.
Oh, is that legit?
No.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
I was
No,
like,
but yeah,
You're so gullible.
it was cool.
I don't know what's real or not.
Jacoby Jones.
it was a cool thing to like. Oh, I have like another aunt. She's still one of my favorite people. Like,
Yeah.
we do Christmas every year at that side of the family's house. I didn't have like a grandma growing up. You know, I had my
Got it.
mom who was my grandmother, but that
Right,
was
right.
more like a mom relationship.
Right.
I didn't have grandma, so now I have like Nana and Grandpa over there, and so
Wait, just to clarify, you weren't kidnapped as a kid, right?
no, I was
That you
not
know of.
kidnapped. No.
Okay. I mean, you're just from, you were saying that your aunt was looking for somebody under a different name.
Yeah,
And your
'Cause when I was-
grandmother raised you as her son,
right.
but
She
your
legally
name was
adopted me.
changed. So it sounds very sketchy.
Well, I
like,
was legally adopted.
A little bit.
When she adopted me, they changed my name.
oh, got it.
That's part of the
because I was
She
named,
chose your name.
yeah, my
Okay.
grandmother chose my name. Yeah, I was named
shit.
biologically. I was named after my grandfather, my
Uh,
quote unquote grandfather, who I don't have. a
Why did your
relationship with.
grandmother want to change your name? Why didn't she just want to let it ride?
I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
I don't have a relationship with that guy, but I don't know. I don't know what led to it. Maybe they
You,
just,
you never asked her?
No.
Maybe it was she didn't want any association
I'd
with-
imagine
maybe-
of you with that
Adrian
guy
was
because he
just a
wasn't a good
superior
guy or
name.
something.
that or just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what led
Maybe
to
to
it.
protect you. I don't.
Maybe, but I don't know.
interesting.
But yeah, definitely, I would have your decision to make. But I would
Mm-hmm.
say, from my experiences, being the family was cool, and I have
I think
some good relationships that came from that. In my opinion of my birth mom hasn't changed. It's still the
Right.
same. It probably would never change, but
The family's
the family's cool. Family's really cool.
I'm
You're thinking something over there.
I literally cannot remember your last name right now.
Oh, starts with an E and ends with an A.
Estrada. Okay.
I wasn't gonna say it on
literally-
the- I wasn't gonna say
literally
it on the
was like
pod.
thinking
That
so
what was
hard.
killing us?
Like
I thought you had something else brewing in
no,
that mind of yours.
I could not remember your last name for the
I thought she was about to take us down. You were raised. You should have been raised by cartels. They dropped you off at somebody's
Oh,
doorstep.
Oh, I mean, maybe. Like,
I was just trying to guess names.
You're the real
Yeah.
Sicario.
What? You know,
I mean,
trying to think what could his other name could have
You
been.
saw what I mean?
Puto. No, just kidding. That's crazy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
That's
of
so
people,
interesting.
People don't know that story. I don't really talk about
I didn't know that. I didn't know your sisters. Who are you?
Yeah, I don't even know you.
I
anymore,
don't
dude.
have anything
Yeah.
cool. I'm so
I've had a very interesting life.
basic
Yeah.
white girl.
We just don't talk about it on the podcast where we intentionally talk about stuff that's supposed to be interesting. I get it.
It's because we
Vulnerability.
Little by little.
finally got
I
past
get
that.
it.
We're
not
on episode
vulnerable.
11, so
Yeah,
you start being a little more
vulnerable
open.
episode, no big
A
deal.
little bit.
Yeah.
Vulnerabilities. I don't like being vulnerable.
Fair enough. Well, back to my vulnerability. It's a hard word to say too.
It is.
That's the closure on that, if anyone's wondering. So
Well,
there it is.
I mean, that's your decision. I don't think that there's anybody, everybody's different. Everybody has their own perspective, right?
Right.
And it was never something that you felt you needed. You were never missing out on anything. You always had, somebody to be there for you.
Right.
Right. So, and you're doing a great job now,
Yes.
regardless. And, in the situation where you didn't have a father, now your kids have no choice. They get to have a father. So,
Oh, yeah. I'm on their
period.
Ass. I'm on their
You
ass.
broke the
Ain't
cycle.
nobody leaving here.
On their
So,
ass. Even
fought it
prior to
all.
the episode, like, were you going? It sounded like you were going through.
Oh,
some
I've
shit
been going through it. Yeah.
leading up into that episode.
Yeah. Just been dealing with grief, learning to deal with grief and finally accept it. I've been numb for so long.
Oh, you're at the stage where you're
I have
trying to.
My
accept
therapist is
things.
like, you need to accept it now.
So
and I don't want to.
removing yourself. What is the advice that they tell you when it comes to learning to?
Can I get a
accept
corner
that-
of your paper?
Uh,
kind
you
of
can have
grief?
a little.
she's just.
I don't.
So I'm on my third session.
It's for my gum.
From what she's telling me right now, she's like, you have to.
Thank you.
How do I put it? She tells me that I have to. I don't want to say accept it. I guess for lack of a better word, it is.
That's what it is, acceptance.
Accept it. Like our brain knows that it happened. Like I know that it
You have
happened,
to
Yeah.
acknowledge.
but I have to like actually acknowledge it and like process it, and not every time I want to cry, just like take a deep breath and hold it in. Because that's what I do.
Right.
Like it's peaked out from time to time, but it was that. Work has been crazy, stress, which is fine now. Finally, everything got taken care of. And then just my mom. Like it's been,
Right.
it's been a lot. And I was drinking more. And I know why I was drinking more, because I couldn't hold it anymore.
yeah.
So my outlet when I'm going through something is to just drink and forget
Does-
about it.
When they tell people to like accept or acknowledge or allow emotions to come out, does that mean like a physical response? Is that what they're
Yeah.
asking for? Or like, do you need to
kind
cry?
of.
Do you need to cry in order for that to be like, or is that not what that
I-
means? Or
I've never felt bad after a cry. I don't know if that. I felt good after a cry. I cried one time, like that I can think of, that wasn't at the funeral,
Mm-hmm.
and I did feel a little bit better, but I mean, not really.
That's
like,
not what accepting. That wasn't accepting.
No, that was
anything?
just part of like, oh fuck, like I miss her. But I had to like, she wants me to sit and like do homework and like
homework.
it's a whole process.
I think
but
it's. I think it's.
Oh.
I think it's moving. I think they want you to move past a mental block that you won't. For some people, I think it's a defense mechanism
Mm-hmm.
to not truly acknowledge what happened and not move past it. They hold on to stuff.
Just
Maybe
avoid it.
regret. Yeah, grief. They that's their way of avoiding it. But I think when they say you have to acknowledge it or you have to accept it, I don't think for everybody that's breaking down into a real deep cry. I think it's getting past a certain mental block, saying like that happened, and there's nothing you can do to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and that person's not coming back in the physical form, at least.
yeah.
Now, what do you need to do to take steps to be better?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of what they're.
Right.
that
I
means?
mean, I think that like just me with like how I grew up, really like thinking of the things that you can change. And then really you have to accept the things that you cannot change. Right. Like, so the serenity prayer and just kind of like, all right, those things that you can't change, like you gotta keep moving,
All right, hold on. Live on air.
Tuck one. You only got one, right?
Hold on. I've got a question. Have you ever smoked a cigarette before?
No.
Ever?
I had once in high school. It
Okay.
was disgusting.
So
Okay.
just to break down what drugs Sal's passing us.
Why you gotta say it like that, man?
We have.
Well, I'm not gonna be the only one.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you wanted one.
Fuck.
You are part of the guys.
Right. I'm not gonna be a pussy.
Okay, so we have nicotine pouches, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicotine pouches.
Isn't that what these are?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We're not allowed to call it by its government name.
No, I'm not saying woke because of that. I'm saying woke because I just got lightheaded.
Oh shit! No.
Go ahead. Finish explaining.
Okay, and
Yeah, they're nicotine pouches. No tobacco.
What's the there are pros, right? pros of
Yeah,
doing
so
this?
there's supposed to be a correlation between nicotine and cognitive improvement. It makes you sharper. It can make you have a little bit better mental acuity. There are studies that show this is true with nicotine.
Hornier?
I did hear that it makes your erections harder and last longer,
Better blood flow.
better blood flow.
'Kay.
But I don't know if that's true.
I don't need.
I can tell you right now, I've only had this in for 2 minutes and I feel a little buzzed. I'm not, I think it's more psychosomatic than anything.
Okay.
I think I'm tricking myself right now.
Well,
Okay,
as
is this
the-
powder inside? Is the powder gonna dissolve?
No, that's not. I don't know. I'm not sure really.
We're just gonna take this ride together.
You just stick it in the top or the bottom.
And
Just let it
you've
chill.
never
Yeah, just let
smoked
it
a
chill.
cigarette ever in your life. You smoked
Never.
a cigarette in high school.
Yeah, it was
I
disgusting.
smoke cigarettes, yeah.
Okay. And
I'm not
Only
drinking.
Camel
I'm not.
Pro.
I have no alcohol in my body, and
where
I feel
did you
buzzed
put
right
it?
now.
Where did you put it?
Where'd you
Right
stick,
here.
Where'd you stick,
Okay.
where'd you
I just pack it in there.
where'd
I
you
don't
stick
know.
the-
I
He used
just
to
had
put 'em on
mouth
his ass.
cancer. Like I don't like. I
I
feel
wouldn't
like
do
But this
that if I was
isn't.
you.
But this isn't the. This isn't cancerous,
No.
right? The nicotine. It's the tobacco that was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is nicotine.
well, I mean, anything is cancerous.
Anything you put in your mouth. could be
Well, in
cancerous.
that way, we shouldn't be having anything. But
Right.
it's the nicotine that provides a lot of these like positive
Right.
mental things that it.
They say
provides, right?
nicotine is a nootropic.
even for dementia, right? It even helps like
There have been some studies that have loose correlations for improving early onset dementia,
There you go,
Alzheimer's. I'm not telling people to go pop these all day, every day. The last time I did one of these pouches was over a year ago.
right.
I
It's
just-
more of the novelty of like,
Yeah, I just wanted to see what it would do, and I'm feeling a little something right now.
Did you put it in your mouth? Already?
all right, I'm gonna do it. So where'd you see?
I put mine right here.
You could pack it on the top, but you just stick it between your lip and your
An
gums.
upper decker.
Do you feel anything?
It's a little hot.
upper decky.
A little hot?
Like it feels a little spicy.
No, but do you personally feel anything? I feel a little stimulus going on.
So this is like a Zyn, right?
Yes, but there's different milligrams. So there's like two. So at the store when I bought these, they had 2 milligrams, 4 milligrams, and 8 milligrams. The girl gave me an 8 milligram thing, and I didn't realize it. And when I was
Ooh,
paying
you're a
for it,
boss.
I said, "Ho, can I not? I don't want these." And I said, "I don't want 8. Can I get 4?"
Yeah.
She said, "There's 2 as well." And I probably should have grabbed the 2, but I went with the 4 because I
Not bad.
ain't no bitch.
I am.
But a funny story about these. The first time I tried these, I was in New Orleans with an ex and a friend of hers and then her boyfriend. So it was 2 couples. And go put it in. Go ahead and put it
I'm
in.
having like the devil and the angel.
No, just do it.
conversation.
Just, one's not gonna hurt you. So
But yeah, also like you didn't have your mouth cut open. Like,
just don't get addicted.
Wow.
Do you feel anything?
No, not at all. I
I'm
just feel like
tripping
I
out
have
right
this weird tea bag in my mouth.
Somebody teabag you?
Yeah, someone clip that.
So I was
wait, it's me.
So I was in New Orleans and with the guy that I was with, he does these and he does them a lot.
the guy that I
guy
was
that I
with,
was
he
with?
does these.
No, I wasn't with a guy. I was with an ex-girlfriend.
That sounds wild.
Yeah, you said you were with an ex, and the guy that you were with.
Okay, I'm gonna
yeah,
make
yeah.
up names for the sake of the story, so you guys don't think I went to New Orleans with the dude.
Push more to it.
So it was me, my ex-girlfriend, her girlfriend, and then her boyfriend. And he went into a store to buy Zins. And he asked me, "Do you do these?" And of course I lied because I wanted to be cool. And I said, "Yeah, I do them all the time."
All the time.
Yeah, I do them.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, "Which milligrams do you get?" I had no
Billie
idea what he was
Holiday,
asking
I
me.
love him.
Yeah. I had no idea. He said, he said, "What milligrams do you get?" I said, I do the strongest
Whatever
ones."
you do.
And then he said, well, so you want the 6? I said, I do the 20s. And he's like, they don't make 20s. I said, okay, I'll get the 6s then.
I'll settle for 6.
Yeah. So he buys 6 milligram packets. Mind you, I've never done them before. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we were hammered because we're in New Orleans during
Yeah.
Mardi Gras.
It's 3 p.m. The sun's not even down.
It was 3 p.m. It was 3 p.m. It was humid too.
That's like bucket. I really want to go to New
We,
Orleans.
Mardi Gras?
we need to
That'd be
go.
fun.
I just want to. Yeah, I
It's
want to
so
take.
fun,
I want to
bro.
take a ghost tour. I want to do all
That would
kinds
be
of New
Oh,
Orleans
see the
type shit.
above ground graves?
Whatever.
Oh, the ghost
Hey,
TV.
are you guys down to go talk to a psychic?
Yes. Yeah. I
We were
would.
talking about that. We
Yeah.
want to do that for the podcast.
That'd be
Talk to
fun.
us.
We
Do,
should film
yeah,
that.
do like a
Let's go to New
palm
Orleans and film
reader
it.
psychic.
In
There's
New
so much
Orleans,
stuff to
would be-
do.
that would be even crazy.
So okay, so he gets the Zim pack. He pops 2 of these in his mouth. There's 6 milligrams, so he has 12 milligrams rolling, right? And I'm thinking, start off slow, man. Start off slow. You never done this. You said you did. I put 1 in, and immediately I started getting the rush of liquids from the back of your mouth to the front of your mouth when you're about to throw up. And I told him, I said, hey man, I don't feel so good. And then he said, you've done these before, right? I said, I honestly, no, I haven't done them. I was just saying that. And he said, why would you get 6 milligrams? You should have gotten 3 and you probably shouldn't do them when you're drunk. So I spit it out immediately. I tried to return them. The lady said, you can't return them. They're open. We go off to the side into a bar. He sits me down. He's fanning me off and I'm drinking water. And he's like,
You're not making the story any better for something for you.
he's like, just breathe and calm down. I'm very proud to say that I didn't throw up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And an hour later, I was back on the horse. We're drinking again.
It comes, you can take it out of your mouth.
Oh,
you're back.
and at the time, I told my ex-girlfriend what happened, and she kind of laughed at me and then said, do you still have those zins? And I
Give
said,
them to me.
I
And
said,
she,
no, I said, no, I threw them away. I don't want those anywhere near. I was not, it was not fun.
That's from
That's
the
crazy.
devil right there. Full disclosure, if this episode ends early, it's because these things really fucked us up and we didn't want to show it on air. So
I fell asleep.
they brought some topics to go over for us.
I'm excited.
Right?
I'm excited for
And
this.
I think they are relationship in nature. Not just that though, right? You have a
Yeah. Well, April is Autism Acceptance Month.
okay.
I didn't know that. That's
And-
awesome.
Yeah. We rock the tism hard in this house.
A lot of stimming in this house.
Oh yeah. And
Well, sorry.
Well,
He rocks the tism too.
you got a little bit of tism, dude.
I probably do. I don't know. I got undiagnosed ADHD. I know that.
You got it.
Yeah, I probably
right. I mean, and that is part of like the family, the neurodivergent family, ADHD, autism and ADHD go hand in hand usually.
Tourette's.
Tourette's.
Yep. Wind it up.
You're bald.
But yeah, so autism and this month, every day in this house, just accepting the spectrum and not two autisms are the same. Everybody is different, and accepting, and a lot of autistic people spend a lot of time being taught how to be in the world, where I think that it should be a little bit more of the world learning to accept the different autistic behaviors. So, as I don't know if our viewers know, but our oldest son is autistic, and really, what was like the first kind of time that you realized maybe that he was
Typically when you have your child and you start going to these doctor's appointments, there's always these milestones that they ask if they're reaching.
Yeah.
And one that Elias was consistently missing on was verbal milestones. How many words did they say this during this amount of time? And then that amount of time. And then
This is when
they
he was really young.
Yeah.
really young. And then they'll also throw out there, well, he's a boy and boys
Take
are a
longer.
little delayed. Cool.
Yeah.
We'll fast forward till 3 or 4 years old, probably three, almost 4.
right.
And he would just do a lot of grunting, right? It was a lot of like grunting for things instead
Right.
of like saying things.
So what were the first signs that you thought that he might be different?
It was just the speaking.
Yeah.
Because honestly, because it's such a wide spectrum, it shows in so many different ways. Some people have a much easier time with their
Right.
autism versus others. Famously, people probably have seen Love on the Spectrum. There's so many different kinds of people on that show. Some of them are a lot more functional or high functioning, whatever. I don't know if that's still
PC
monikers or
yeah,
whatever that
yeah.
they use for that. But some of them are way more. They just have a much harder time in life than others. You know, a lot of those guys are dating, and some of them can even date non-neurodivergent people, autistic people.
Yeah.
Some of them date regular, quote unquote, regular people. Some of them date other autistic people. But it just shows in different ways. So with Elias, he was mainly just nonverbal.
Yeah. He had no words. He wasn't even saying mama or dad, daddy, dada, whatever. Like, there were no variations of milk, like anything like that. And those are like typical words that you're saying usually. And we were learning to sign, and he would, say please and, thank you, and he'd milk, but he never had any, like he would, we finally taught him to point,
Right.
but it was a lot of like noises, like verbal inflections, but never like a word like
Sure.
coming out.
Right.
And
Honestly, even when we switched providers from Sharp to
right. So our
Kaiser,
first provider was Sharp, and we kind of like at one of his checkups just kind of mentioned like he doesn't talk yet, like do you think that he could be autistic, or is this something to be concerned with? And that doctor immediately was like, no, there's no way, he makes such great eye contact.
a sign of whether someone's autistic is or not is whether they can make
Right.
eye contact.
But
with other
again, not
people.
everybody is the same.
Exactly.
And,
That's
right.
just so tricky,
Mhm.
especially with younger kids.
But it was so quick. And then, life changed. We changed providers. We had Julius, and the first checkup that we had for Elias at Kaiser, immediately that doctor was like, hold on, he doesn't talk yet?
They're like, he hasn't been diagnosed
We're
yet?
gonna go immediately. Like set up appointments, and it was a whirlwind.
How old is he at that point?
3.
Yeah.
Do you guys use speech therapy and all that?
We
did all
did-
kinds of therapies.
yeah.
ABA,
Yeah.
occupational,
We did that too for Julian.
all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
those things, by the way, did wonders.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've learned with that was the sooner you kind of help your kids
Mm-hmm.
get the help that they need,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the better off. I guess the further ahead I feel like they're gonna get the older, like as they grow.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we would have just let Elias just kind of free for all it, figure it out, see,
Go
not-
through
not get
school. I don't
professional
know.
help,
Yeah.
I don't think he would be as far along as he is today.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't get that help,
Mm-hmm.
because they help him with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Things that we wouldn't realize.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and because our ABA was in home, so they would come, and we maxed those hours out. They were coming 5 hours a
Wow.
day, 5 days a
But
week.
here's the hard part: they charge you per visit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're someone that really doesn't have enough money to
Mhm.
do 5 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
max amount of hours per day,
Right.
That's not
Insurance
fair.
doesn't cover that?
That's not.
Insurance
partially.
did cover it.
Ours did not. Not
We
for everybody
we had to pay a copay,
Right.
and the copay was $25.
each time.
And we were every day. So every day it was $25, which equaled out to $100 a week. But because of Easter seals covered our copay. And that's funding from the state of California. I'm not sure if that's federal funding or not, but
Right.
that is something that we were able to take advantage of with that. And thankfully, and I mean, that helped us through, they came through the pandemic. They, like, all through 2020, we had amazing ABA therapists coming and helping us. And a lot of it was, I felt like, to teach us,
Also, how to help him.
how to help him. They helped him with life skills they helped us being able to like cut his fingernails. They helped us potty train him. He was kind of like a loose cannon for a while.
He would throw himself on the ground. A lot
Yeah,
and
temper
do
tantrums
that
and
thing.
yeah, and ABA really helped us kind of like smooth it out for
Right.
him. So, but he's a great kid. We've been very lucky to have the community that we have. The school
Mhm.
that he goes to is great. But he's a bright kid and he's amazing.
Sweetest kid.
Yeah,
That's
he,
super
yeah.
sweet. I
Yeah.
feel like watching him play with other kids. It's like it's kind of brutal sometimes because he's so they're so like I feel like they stay innocent a little bit longer
Mm-hmm.
with their autism, and I could tell with some kids like they automatically kind of like brush them off, kind
Right.
of thing.
And he's so literal. And if that other kid is not like aware, and
Which most of them are. Almost
Yeah.
none of them are.
Yeah.
he just, for the most part, and I ask him like, who's your best friend at school? And he's like, I like to be alone.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
we go to the park and immediately he's like, yeah, Can we go home? I want to go
But
relax.
honestly, I feel bad because I feel like some of it is like he just knows he doesn't. Kids won't play with him, kind of thing.
Yeah. He's very specific on his special interests. He loves robots and transformers and anything mechanical, animatronic, stuff like that. So
It's cool that they have a month dedicated for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So what do they? I don't know. This month, what do they highlight? They just like to announce. I don't know. help
Well, yeah, it's more
recognize people?
again of the acceptance of autism. Because autism speaks used to be more about like changing your child to be verbal or whereas now it's autism acceptance. And so us learning, as the neurotypical or, understanding different ways of living or
Yeah.
your brain functions or whatnot. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
That if people, I don't know, we're going through it too. So
Mm-hmm.
if anybody's listening, has questions, opinions,
Yeah.
I don't know, happy to share. We're not obviously professionals, but
Nah.
we can always share our
Yeah.
experience.
What was the hardest part for you guys as parents when you made the realization that he was autistic?
For me, I didn't even know what autism was. I heard of it. I knew there was a month dedicated to it, but I didn't know what that entailed. It's kind of even a hard thing to explain specifically what it is.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I guess the hardest thing at first is just accepting your kid is different because you always want just healthy, normal, quote unquote, kids. But once you kind of like, I don't know, once you kind of look on the bright side of things and realize like he's actually, he's going to be all right. You know what I mean? Like you kind of go down the list of people that you realize certain celebrities are autistic. Dan Aykroyd, Ghostbusters guy, the Blues Brothers guy, he's autistic, a famous autistic person.
Yeah, a lot are.
Quentin Tarantino, autistic. Like some of these guys have almost like superpowers in a way. Like they can hyper focus on certain things that make them extraordinary. Those are just prominent examples of that. But it's possible. These people are can be capable of living totally normal lives.
Elias definitely has that like engineer robotics.
Yeah.
You gotta hone that at a young age and let them get good at it.
Right, and that's pretty much what it is. Versus Juju or Julius, our younger son, you could tell he's different. Like he's way more talkative, way more outgoing, way more like ahead on.
He likely isn't autistic, but he probably has ADHD, ADD, something like that.
If there's anything like I would say as far as like parents who don't have kids that are autistic is maybe starting to try to tell their kids like to be a little bit more accepting and try to like be more inclusive in the sense of like trying to force, like not force, but like Elias is definitely way more receptive to like kids getting him to do stuff because I think he's old enough now that he's afraid of that rejection now, so he doesn't try. He'd rather sit with us at the park and go play with the kids. So I feel like if kids were more like, come on, Elias, this and that, which I know is hard, they're kids. But I think that could be something that can be improved, I think, just across the parenting.
Elias, I've always explained him more as like an indoor cat. He comes out when he wants to.
Yeah.
Like,
Does he, at least what I see, and I could be wrong, he seems like he's a protector.
Yeah.
Well, he has a very strong sense of like justice, of like what he feels is like justified, or there's like no gray area. It's black or white. And so if he, feels that something is wrong, somebody's picking on his brother or picking on him, or you can't do that. Like, he's very much the kid that's like, mom, language. Like he's a rule follower.
Well, interesting development with Elias over the past week.
Oh my gosh.
Not related to the autism stuff, but
relating to being a boy.
Just being a man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did he discover his tank?
He's definitely
So-
discovered his tank. And
Mikhail comes home and he switches.
I start watching YouTube because the kids, their YouTube can find and come across weird videos. So after a while, I kind of no more YouTube. You guys kind of stumble into like weird cartoons that are like cursing, joking about adult stuff. That's kind of framed to be like a Super Mario video game. Watch,
They won't know the
but they're
difference.
cursing and they're
And it's
sexualizing the
inappropriate,
princesses or whatever.
Mhm.
But what I came across, because I can go on YouTube and you can review what you've previously been watching. And when I got home and I was looking for I left off in the morning watching a podcast. I just wanted to finish it. But what I saw in the chain of videos that were watched previously, there were a bunch of voluptuously pregnant cartoons that are just kind of bouncing around on the screen kind of thing. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? You know, because these are pregnant. These are pregnant
It's
cartoons.
and they're like hypersexualized,
big time. Like,
but they're like
Pregnant
closed.
cartoon character.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
That's
And
wild.
It's crazy. And you asked him about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
And he gave you a
So,
pretty funny fucking
well,
response to that.
Because
I like the curves.
Right.
I like the curves.
Mikhail just got home from work. You know, I've been home with the kids.
all over the house.
He's
kind of.
he's physically exhausted. And so he comes across this and I'm sitting next to him and he literally says, how much effort, or what did you say? How much energy do I have?
No. So I see it. We see it together,
Mhm.
and she says something like, "You talked to him about it?" And I'm like, "I don't know how much energy I have yet to address it."
Yeah.
And then maybe like 20 minutes, 30 minutes goes by, and
Elias comes in. He's got his tablet. He comes in on his own. And so I take that opportunity to be like, Elias, what were you watching? And he knows that we know.
No, well, I asked him like, "Have you been watching YouTube?"
Mm-hmm.
I was like, first, I wanted to lead into that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know they're not supposed to watch YouTube. And then they all deny no. He denies no. They all deny no. And I'm like,
Well,
somebody's been watching
right.
YouTube. And then they're just like, Juju asked, how do you know? And I was just like, don't worry about how I know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just know I
No.
can see what you guys are watching.
So in this
The
instance,
YouTube fairy told me.
Elias comes in and we start asking him the questions to kind of get him in the corner, you know, of like, all right. And he gets himself there of like, all right, I was watching bad videos. I should go to
He
timeout.
puts himself in timeout.
He said bad videos.
Yeah, he says bad videos
Oh,
and he puts himself
what?
in timeout. And then time goes by, and I think you walked in.
Talk about justice.
Yeah.
You checked it. You checked
So,
up on him in his room.
yeah, so time goes by, and because I can't just put him in timeout and not have the conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, why were you like, how come you were watching those videos? And he's like, well, and I'm like, why do you watch those videos? And he goes, well, my penis likes it.
No. No.
And I'm like, God.
Wait. Verbatim?
Yeah, just like that. Oh my
And mind
God.
you, he's
I was gonna joke when you were saying that
No.
and say that he said something along the lines, I have feelings down there when I watch
Something-
those videos, but he straight up said my penis likes
That's
it.
the literal. That's the literal.
Yeah.
Whoa.
very literal.
You know, go to timeout right now.
No, he was already in timeout. And I'm not going to shame him. Like, that's
Yeah.
a natural feeling. But now I have to like explain, okay, like clearly he's got what he likes.
Hormones
And that's
developing.
voluptuous, pregnant women.
Thick old.
So yeah, so which like,
Big girls.
he has married parents who love each other very much
yeah.
and show each other physical affection
Sure. Yeah.
a lot. And so he sees his dad touching me, which I think that's normal.
Nothing crazy. Like
Yeah, we're not
grab you
naked
and
in
hug
front of
you.
them.
Yeah, I'll hug you and
Right.
stuff.
Right. Yeah. But, we are also in our house. So I have to ask him, like, okay, do you know how a girl gets pregnant?
Because they're pregnant girls that he's watching.
Specifically pregnant girls.
All the chain of
This
videos
escalated quickly.
each had a different variant of the same body.
Pregnant.
It could have just been part of the algorithm.
It was.
He was
it really
just like,
was, and he just kept following the videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it
But
was,
yeah, so that's where we're at.
That's wild. He said my penis likes it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of parenting. You just never know what's gonna happen.
and it's hard because he's 8, yeah, but he's like, I don't know, he's an autistic 8. Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But it's hard to explain to an 8-year-old. But there's also like, you gotta like work
And
with
he's
that.
still so innocent.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, there's no maliciousness behind it. He literally was telling you how he felt.
Yeah.
He's being so honest.
Yeah, he was just enjoying.
When he said that, did you
You laugh.
laugh?
I would have laughed if I would have.
I would have.
If he would have said that to me, I would have laughed.
I mean, he was like, my penis likes it. And I was like,
Because he was obviously really upset about it when he said that.
yeah, because I mean, he knew that he was hot, and he was trying to, like,
Yeah.
and that's also like a thing is because he's so dry about certain things. He's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And so
He put himself
like,
in timeout.
Yeah, he
no,
did.
Yeah.
right,
Shout out to
but
self-awareness
like,
to be like,
right.
I need to
so,
go to timeout.
so there's times when like I'm laughing because it's funny because
Yeah.
it's like comedic,
After-
but he doesn't realize he's being funny. And so I have to like keep it together because he's being dead serious.
Yeah, so you have to be serious too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now.
Autism awareness.
Yeah.
Be aware. They like pregnant women. I'm just
But here's the thing.
looking into that.
What was your sex talk?
Just
You
in
didn't
general?
have a sex talk.
I didn't have a formal sex talk.
You did not have a
Did
traditional.
you say your mom just started leaving condoms around?
Yeah. I don't remember how old I was. She can probably tell me later when she hears this, but I just woke up one morning to the kitchen and there were condoms sitting on the table, like nicely displayed, like on the table, like a fucking grocery store.
There's
display
like
or
a
something.
pack of Reese's
Fucking
with it.
a pyramid of condoms like displayed on the fucking. Like, goddamn, mom,
A
how much
house-
sex you think I'm having?
a
right
house
now?
of condoms.
Like a house of cards.
Yeah,
with a house of
but yeah,
condoms.
but condoms.
And I got the hit. I got the message. I pretty much was just like.
But then also,
noted.
what's
I'll-
the other part
I'll
of your
hold one
sex
with me.
ed? What was the other part of your sex
I
ed?
don't remember. Which one are you talking about? What are you talking about? The condoms?
No.
Tell me.
In the labor and delivery room.
Oh yeah.
Come on, you can't forget that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead, tell your story.
Oh, okay. I was just so part of that in prevention of young pregnancy. I want to say I was like a freshman in high school, maybe 8th grade or somewhere in that ballpark.
Oh, I know the story.
My aunt was having a baby,
Oh,
and
yeah.
my mom made me miss school and everything, and took me to go watch her delivery in the actual war room, in the fucking room. And I eventually started off with like, if this is the room and this is the bed, I was like in the corner just minding my business, trying not to look. It's fucking intense in there. Fucking a lot of screamings going on, a lot of doctors and curtains
How
are
old?
being
How old
put
were
up.
you? You said 9th grade.
Yeah, I was like
Jeez.
8th, 9th grade, somewhere in that ballpark. And eventually they get to the point where they're just like, hey, we need someone to help her hold her legs up while she's pushing. Well, Kyle, get over here, help your aunt. And
my
so
God.
I'm on one side of the bed. I'm there holding one leg. And then they're like, can you help, even support her head as she's pushing? So I was like, I was in it. Like I was
Yeah.
there. I was basically as involved as I was when I was with my own kids.
And he was a great birthing partner.
I had experience. But afterwards with that, I did have to sit down, and I was just like, that was
I don't wanna be here.
with the placenta coming out and the fluids and the fact that it's your aunt, and like it was a lot. I didn't have my first kid till it was 25, 26. So I guess that worked intentionally, but I don't know if I necessarily recommend that method for everyone.
Yeah,
But it was a method that worked for me.
it was effective for you.
Yeah, so I don't know if I necessarily needed the birds and the bees talk. Is that a thing? Did you? I mean, mine different. Do you guys have a
Nah.
formal birds and the bees
Mine
talk?
was wild.
Okay. well,
Mine
yeah,
was
let's hear
wild.
what Mayor Bear said.
I know. I
I
didn't
feel like
have.
it was came
I
from
didn't,
the dog.
I didn't have a talk with my mom about it. So I saw.
Oh,
I was
Your stepdad? Or Uncle John.
No,
Oh
with
God.
with one of my uncles. It wasn't Uncle John. I grew up without a father, and my mom
Put that
was
pepper dude right down there.
yeah, my mom was mom and dad, and then I had the only consistent male figure that I had in my life were my uncles, and I never actually had a formal talk that I can remember. What sticks out in my mind is what one of my uncles told me. It wasn't Uncle John; it was another uncle. 'Cause I have 4 uncles, and he told me his advice was pull out and bust on the drapes. That's it.
Jesus
Christ. The first time he said it, I thought he said grapes. So I'm like, why would you ejaculate on good grapes?
Perfect.
I like grapes.
I bring grapes.
Yeah, I want to eat grapes. And then he said, no, drapes. He's like, whatever you're doing, pull out, turn to the side. And he said it's serious. This is a heavier uncle I have.
I know exactly.
You know who I'm talking about, because the 2 older uncles, they ain't talking like this. They're
Baby cheeks.
Yeah, baby cheeks.
That uncle. He literally he said, listen to me. I don't care how good it is. You pull out, you turn to the side, and you bust on the drapes.
And
I said,
that's how we got Sal today.
and I
You've been
said,
busting on the drapes ever since.
and I said,
Drapes are safe around.
well, no, and I asked him, what if there's no drapes? He's like, the wall's fine. Just anywhere but inside of her. I said, okay. And so
That worked.
Wow.
Sal was born.
Did that stick with you like early on?
I mean, I'm 36 and I don't have any kids.
All right.
Shout out to drapes.
You don't have,
So-
you don't have
Shout out
any
to
drapes in your
drapes.
house?
I don't have any drapes.
Hey, but he does have a wall.
And I do have grapes.
Yeah, and grapes.
So yeah, I guess it was like your point. Teach their own. It was
Yeah,
effective.
It was
Yeah.
effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Nah, I never had like no one sit down and talk to me about this is what sex is, aside from like the school sex education.
Yeah, or movies or whatever the
Movies,
fuck.
Yeah.
Stories.
My mom didn't really talk to me. She didn't really talk to me. She never gave me condoms or nothing like that. Not until we got caught.
Caught having sex?
Yeah, I got caught
Well,
having
and,
sex.
like-
And then
Damn.
my mom took us
What
to,
was that like?
Weird. She came home early and
At your place?
my place.
Okay.
Yeah, she came home early from work. I was having sex and
I've been caught like that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like
my god.
the person I was having sex with like got up and like ran into the closet and like was covering herself and
Oh my
then
God.
I was
Oh,
just
see,
laying there like
we didn't know
yeah.
that the parent was home until we were done.
No,
He
yeah.
let us finish.
He
Did you yell? Did you yell at her and
Very
say,
nice.
"I told you not to disturb me while I'm vacuuming my room"?
Wait,
No,
so-
I was like, I was just laying. I just laid. I was still naked. I'm pretty sure my dick was still hard. Like I was laying down with a cover, like up here. I didn't know what to do. Like
Your dick was still out.
First thing she
covered
did
the
was
titties.
open the door, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Straight Eiffel Tower.
She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Nothing." And I was like, covered. She's like, "Why are you home?"
Why are you sweating?
Yeah. And then she like looked around.
Watch your cups.
she was looking around, and then she opened the closet door, and the girl was in there like this, just covered. And she was like, "What are you guys doing?" And then from the then she kind of talked to us like later, and then took us to Parenthood the next day. But that was my sex talk, like with my mom. It was the first time we ever like talked about like, she's like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be doing this, like you need to be careful. And then
Yeah.
took us to Planned Parenthood. I never had like a
The
talk.
same uncle that told me to pull out and bust on the drapes was also the same uncle that whenever we would go grocery shopping with my grandmother towards the end of her life was had a hard time walking.
Mhm.
So every time we'd go grocery shopping, we would get one of those electric scooters.
Mhm.
And I used to love when she'd get those because
Yeah.
I would just stand on the back of it.
Hop on.
And she'd always try to like elbow me off. Like it's not made for 2 people. But this uncle, when we would go grocery shopping, he would go with us. And I was a kid. I would go everywhere with my uncle, especially during summer, because we went to traditional school where we would have 2.5, 3 months off for
Right.
summer.
Right.
And so I was always with my uncle and my grandma because my mom worked a lot. And so this same uncle, we would be in the grocery store. I'm with at the time, 65-year-old grandmother in an electric scooter. I'm a little boy, right? I think I was in middle school. And he would grab these huge salamis that they'd have. Don't make me laugh. Let me finish my
I
story.
already know where this is going.
God.
He grabbed.
I love that uncle. Shout out that uncle.
Yeah, I love that uncle. I love all my uncles.
Oh
He
my
grabbed
God.
this huge salami, and they didn't call me Sal. They called me Jackos.
All right.
That was a theme in our family. Everybody was Jackos. You had little Jackos, baby Jackos, daddy Jackos, and Jackos was short for jackass. And so he would literally grab this giant salami and he would say, "Hey Jackos," and he'd put it right here, like simulating that it was a penis. And then my grandmother would look at him and said, "Put that that shit away. She just gets so mad.
Oh my god.
And I would laugh. I was dying. And then she's like, don't do that in front of Saul.
Yeah.
And then as soon as my grandmother would look away, he'd start putting it back. As soon as my grandmother would look away, he'd be like, then he'd do it again. And I'd start laughing. She'd turn around, put it away. Oh man. That was my sex ed.
So I mean the
You should
same.
at
I
least know
had
how to
like
do it.
the school sex ed,
Mhm.
right? You saw more birth than I did
Yeah,
until I gave birth myself.
Hands-on experience.
Right. But and then by the time that I just literally that week started having sex, and my mom, I came home.
At least it was your mom.
Listen, I came home from wherever I was. My sister just got caught shoplifting. So they were in the backyard having like a heart-to-heart
Same
talk
day?
or whatever. Yeah, and I came home and my mom's like, "Oh, so what's going on with you? You know, like bring me into the heart to heart. Are you having sex yet?" And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's all, "Better get on that birth control." And that was that.
That was it.
So easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yo,
Well, I mean, because my mom was like, my mom still is like super cool. Like she's
Yeah, she knows
very,
basketball player.
she's very
Very hip.
Oh, right.
Very hip.
She's very accepting.
Yeah.
Like she's not very judgmental, at least when it comes to me. Anybody else, she's fucking any. But she, was always knew she wasn't gonna tell me like, don't do that
Exactly.
because then that makes you,
want to do it more.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a point in time when our friend group, it just snowed a lot around this particular friend group, and
Snowed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
yeah, and my mom was like, "Well, just don't become a tweaker. We don't like
That
those."
white girl.
And then literally it took the fun out of it because my mom doesn't give a fuck. All right.
Well, then I don't.
Who cares?
Ma, you want to do this line?
Right. Well,
That shit
so,
scares me. Like cocaine.
yeah.
I'm
I never.
terrified.
I've never tried it.
I've never
Both
done
of my
it. I
parents
never
were
will.
very open about like using drugs,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, just looking around, in general, you can see that if you do drugs, it's probably not going to end out well. But
Yeah.
I mean, my parents were always very open about that.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's fucking scary.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's
I'm not gonna
terrifying.
lie. I thought
That's
we
terrifying.
were not. I thought I was gonna. I thought we were gonna skirt by that.
Yeah.
I could have told that in the story earlier, Kyle. I thought we were gonna skirt past that.
Oh, I don't
but
want to
no, no.
Good times.
With the magic.
You want to know the scary part? That was my first time. The time that I told you about.
Yeah.
You're like, they dissolve.
What am I?
They
17,
dissolve.
what am I? 17 years old.
An expired
This
condom.
was literally more like this was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was safe. There was no drape, so I had to use a condom.
Yeah.
And so I we're done, and I go to the bathroom and pee and wash my hands and all that, and then come back, and then she goes to the bathroom, and then when she goes to the bathroom, I didn't have the condom anymore, so I'm looking all over the ground. And there's no lights. There's no lights in the room. So I'm literally doing, it's all dark. You can imagine that's exactly what I was doing. I'm like this all over.
like touching whatever. is
I don't know
like-
why. I don't know why I check my pockets. Like I turn my pockets inside out. Think, wow, how that's like a Houdini trick, right? Yeah, everywhere.
You did pull a rabbit.
And so so we left, and I did tell Mikhail maybe the next day or the next week.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
look-
if
look
you,
around.
I said, can you look
Imagine
around?
Sandra just finding a
No, I
fucking
told-
crusty ass condom.
I apologized to Mikhail. I said, Mikhail, if you find a condom in that room, I'm so sorry. I tried to look everywhere and I couldn't find it.
First time.
And to my knowledge,
it wasn't even mine.
to my knowledge, it was never found. So I just later on, when I got older, did the math.
Deduced.
I deduced that it was.
Was it her
probably-
first time?
No, not at all.
Okay.
She was a veteran. I don't want to say I'm super picky because I'm not. I feel like that's kind of biting me in the butt in the past. Having too many requirements, you just have to. I think now I just look for certain things. I look for certain qualities or intangibles. And if you have them, then great. We can keep dating and try to build this friendship and getting to know each other. And if you don't, I'm not even wasting your time or my time anymore.
Right.
Where before I would entertain
Right.
it for a while because it was fun. You had somebody there. Hey, I can hit this person up. We can go grab drinks and stuff. I don't even waste their time
Right.
anymore.
Or how much like can you reveal or not reveal to keep the relationship going, even though you know it's not compatible? You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
even though I know it's
yeah,
probably a dead end,
yeah,
I used to hang around a lot longer than I should have, and I don't do that anymore.
yeah,
Because I'm now I'm in a place where I'm more than content being alone and focusing on other things and working on myself, and that person will come when they come.
right.
But if I think now I'm in a place where if I find that person and you know they check some of those boxes that are really important to me,
Right.
then I'm ready to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
There's no half stepping. It's
Right.
and if not, then it's thank you, but no thank you. I mean,
Right.
I went on a couple of dates not too long ago. We were on episodes 1 and 2 or something when we talked about some of the dates that I went on.
Oh yeah.
And both of those dates, great women. I have nothing bad to say about them, but I knew pretty early on that it wasn't going to turn into something long term. I haven't talked to them again. Nothing against
You're
them.
not, yeah, you're not leading yourself on
And I'm
as
not
much
gonna
as
lead
you're
them
not
on.
leading
They
them
were great
on. Yeah.
women. They were beautiful. They
Right.
were really intelligent. They had good jobs, you know, but it wasn't enough there for me. And so I went on a couple dates and that was it for me.
Right.
Even the catfish.
That was one of them. But another one that I actually, you know, I wasn't catfished and great person, had a good career, you know, but I just didn't see myself. I didn't see it going long term. So I told myself why the old me would have been, oh, let's just keep on going on dates. And then it probably would have led to something intimate. And then it would have been a little bit harder to maybe step away from it. Why? If you know from the beginning, just don't waste their
The worst thing you
time.
can do is have sex with them.
Don't waste their time. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
That's how I am now
Common one is
for
like
dating.
sex, right? Sex. I've seen, or I've even spoken with people that will, you know, they probably hadn't had sex in their marriage in over a year, and they're not okay with it, but they're
Yeah.
just
I didn't realize how common that was.
they're dealing with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just was
fairly
talking to somebody
common.
who, in her marriage, or her previous marriage, that
that was
they
the thing,
slept in separate beds.
and
So crazy.
And to me, that's a thing. That's a communication thing. I think, you know, because, you know, naturally some of us have higher sex drives and needs. Your partner not be at that level, and that shouldn't be a something that's wrong. I think that's something that both sides should be able to work on and compromise. And if I'm ever feeling away, I'll talk to her, and then she'll tell me, well, you know, it would help me out if we can do X, Y, Z to kind of help me kind of get there and do this and do that. Cool. All right. Yeah, that helps me out. And, you know, I'll be helping you out. And she's willing to do X, Y, Z, and I'm willing to do X, Y, Z. But without her end being willing to compromise and both sides doing it, sure, maybe we would end up going a full year plus without any intimacy.
Yeah, but just being able to have those conversations with your partner is so huge.
And without
Right.
ego.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard.
Because she could say something like that, and then you could, whoa, that's not me, it's you, or
Yeah.
something like you remove your ego, and you have a really, really good conversation, and you communicate those needs, and then it helps the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I had to work on, was the communication, was my tone on like presenting things, because I would get like worked up or like extra passionate about something, and that immediately would like, it would come off to him as like red flag.
It would just
Yeah,
not turn me off, but it would like
Rub-
almost put up
rub
like,
him the wrong way.
like
Yeah, put
guards
up
on my-
a wall
Yeah.
immediately. So that was something that I had to learn, was how to communicate with him to get like effective
right.
change.
And then the compromise on my end is trying to take in if something I may interpret as offensive and try to remember that's not what she means. That's just how she's used to communicating. Trying to not take offense to, and working on that part too. But
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like
But-
both ways.
Right. But I think that because I've learned, I think, how to communicate better, your part now is like following through on the things that I'm asking.
yeah.
You're right. Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but I mean, it's a two-way street.
For sure.
You know, we both have to communicate with each
Someone
other.
wants the backstory on the junkyard story.
I think you tell it
See,
best.
I wasn't there. Yeah.
I
So
think
it's
you
all
tell
you.
it best. I remember.
Well, yeah, maybe you could fill in the details then, because I remember the big stuff.
I don't remember too much from that night. But I will say that, and so Andres, I'll tell you what, I don't remember too much.
Yeah.
We drank a lot, but I remember snapshots. So this is what I remember. You might be able to fill in the details.
Yeah.
Andres at one time, he was good for only one dance move, which was this every time we were at a party.
Hold on. Even before we get to there, the way that we used to party back then, maybe people our age will remember. In order to get the address to the party, you had to call a
the
phone
text
number.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
And go straight to voicemail. That would provide
The party line?
address, a party address.
Yeah.
And it was
And it
usually
was
a party crew.
A pre-recorded. Yeah.
So that was a party crew, and so it was a pre-recorded message like, "Hey, this is." I think the party crew is Latinos the LGD, Latinos getting
Okay,
down.
there you go. Yeah,
this is
yeah,
Latinos
yeah.
getting down.
Yeah.
This is the address for the party.
LGD. That's
LGD.
right. That's
And
right.
so we went, and then I don't remember what happened.
Apparently, I wasn't hip to that
We-
because I'm
never
not
had that?
Party
Latino.
crews were a thing.
We were
They were a
drinking.
thing.
Andres is dancing on this Beetle. We're at a junkyard, so it's an old beat up Beetle. Andres is dancing. He slips and falls back, and his head
It was like
is
a
about
rave over there.
is
Like,
about to
it was
hit.
Huge.
Yeah, it was huge. Oh, they had a
The
DJ.
size of this party
They had these crazy lights.
and the amount of coolers they had just spread out everywhere.
Mhm.
It was. I've never seen anything like it. And we walk in, we get our cups of jungle juice, but then also I remember what stood out was someone had a Patron Silver bottle,
Mhm.
and this is like, when you're first drinking, you could drink so much liquor without
Yeah.
even like
You
gag,
don't
no
even
gag.
realize
You
it.
don't know.
realize
Good.
it. Yeah.
I remember getting like a whole fucking cup, like red Solo cup of that Patron Silver, and being able to just chug that shit. And
Fuck
this is when we're just kind of settling into where we're like gonna be hanging out in the party. So things start to get like really hazy from there.
I'm
And
pretty sure the jungle juice that was all over the party.
it was like
was
all
spiked.
it was like all Everclear.
I think it
and
was-
shit.
I think it was
You know what I mean?
spiked.
Like that
Yeah.
I
That
think they
was-
put what are those things? Bingas? Back in you remember that? Back in the you don't remember that?
was Florries,
Bing-
roofies, Florries.
Bingas, which I think were date rape drugs.
I didn't really go to too many party crew parties.
I think they put bingas in the jungle juice, so everybody was drinking spiked jungle juice.
Yeah.
And then Andres is dancing on an old beat up Volkswagen, an
Things-
old school bug.
Things get wild and he
Slips.
jumps on a car.
He takes his shirt off, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
He takes his shirt off. He starts dancing on the hood of this car. He slips and he's falling back, and his head is going straight towards the windshield. And Mikhail
Grab them.
reaches out and grabs him and saves him.
I
Yeah.
don't even know how.
And he doesn't hit his head at
It's like
all.
the time you saved my life.
I don't even know.
His head would have cracked
this.
this windshield open.
Yeah.
And then I'm not gonna lie, I remember DJ dancing, a lot of loud music, lights everywhere, and then cops showing up.
Yeah, essentially
running.
the cops came and then everyone just scrambled.
Yeah.
Everybody ran into the junkyard now. And I had Daryl. Daryl was blacked out. And we ended up hiding in this car, abandoned car, while the cops pull
Inside
in.
of a car.
And it's me and him in the back seat, and there was two other people hiding with us in the front seat. I don't remember who, but eventually we get out so we can kind of like keep running. And I want to say Robert Toucan eventually tried to get Daryl to go through a fence first, and then we'll follow him. Turned out that fence had a junkyard dog. And the
my
dog starts
God.
running towards Daryl, and we snatch Daryl through the fence just in time before this dog like bites him. And then
Somebody so that another
I
part
don't
of
know- I don't
another
know- I don't
another
know
part
who
of
it
that
was.
was Toucan jumped the fence, I think
okay, yeah.
first, and as as
he threw a shoe.
yeah,
over.
as Daryl
He
was
threw
trying to sneak
Daryl's
through a
shoe
fence.
over. The shoe was
Oh no,
gone.
you're right. Okay, so yes,
Shoot to
He
make sure
threw
there was.
yeah. So Daryl lost a shoe.
threw a shoe.
I thought Toucan jumped the fence to get Daryl's shoe and tossed it over. No?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
if the way I think I remember it, we put Daryl because there was just enough room to like get him through. But maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
I thought somebody jumped the fence and then when they got on the other side said, "Oh shit, there's a dog."
That had to have been.
And ran back and jumped the fence, but in the process lost their shoe, and then they got butthurt because I lost my shoe. That shoe's gone. There's a big ass, and we were all drunk, so in my mind it was the dog from Sandlot on the
Yeah.
other side of
It
that
was
fence.
a big dog.
100%.
It was
sounds
a
like-
big dog.
But I remember we were in the car in this old beat up
Were you in the
car.
car with us?
Yeah, I was in the
Oh,
back
okay.
seat, and everybody, shut up, don't say a word.
Yeah.
Somebody was breathing really loud. Shut up, don't breathe so loud. We'd see lights. cop lights going by, and I don't know how we didn't get caught, but we didn't. Then I don't know if you remember this. When we get back to my car, I don't, I said, "Oh man, I hope somebody isn't here." It's my old car. This is a long time ago. My windows were shattered. You remember that?
Yeah.
We got back to that's when I had the black Honda, and my back window was shattered. And I was thinking, who, first of all, even knew this was my car and knew that I parked here? And then we pretty much deduced to they weren't trying to target me. They just picked the window and broke it. And lucky me, I was the one, right? But my window was completely shattered.
Right.
And we tried to take as much glass out of my car as possible. But then we got on the freeway. We didn't get all the glass because there's shattered glass everywhere. And on the freeways, glass starts flying out of the car and hitting people. Oh, God, I got to cut my glass.
And leading up to your car, Daryl couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So I ended up throwing him over my shoulder and just carrying him like
Little
fucking,
ass
like how I
Daryl.
carry my
Yeah.
kids now,
Oh,
fireman
yeah.
style.
Yeah.
And we're just running to Sal's car. To fucking
Mikhail
avoid
in
the
his
cops.
peak fucking
Yeah.
physique.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Fucking running with
And Daryl was super light
Yeah.
back
yeah,
then.
and Daryl he was saying something. I don't remember if he was talking shit the whole time.
put me
or
down,
if,
probably talking
or
shit.
if he was grateful.
Probably
But
talking shit.
picking
I
up
remember
his
him-
big
I remember
man.
him
I
talk- I
imagine
remember
him
him
trying to
talking.
talk himself
Yeah,
out.
he was probably saying some shit like, "Put me down. You know I'm 300 pounds all muscle. I should be carrying your ass."
right,
Yeah.
right. I just remember carrying him for so long. Those
Oh, it was a
aisles it was such
yeah.
a long way.
It was probably
And,
a mile walk.
And there were so many of us. The cops were just kind of there at the entrance. They just honestly let us all bounce. They didn't really like do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But they were there, like they were going through everything, and then we ended up just driving out. But
The story that I gave
Was that the night?
mother about how that window got broken
what'd you say?
was something so stupid. I think I said we were at.
Bird fell. No, just-
I think I said we were at
He
AMC.
drink.
I'm pretty sure I said we were at AMC, and that we were in a multi-park, and which is dumb because none of the AMCs in that area had multi-level parking garages. But I said that we were at AMC in a multi-level parking garage, and somebody dropped a bowling ball from a top level, and it rolled down and went into my windshield.
You're so dumb.
Yeah.
That's like basically the magic bullet.
Mary was rolling her fucking eyes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, how many shooters were on the grassy knoll?
Thank you guys for tuning in, episode 11. If you guys want to submit any future questions, stories, or anything we can go over, relationship, you guys are finding out our experience with autism. We got it all, and we're just learning about shit about each other as we go. Every episode, I'm learning about sisters and
Yeah, sister wives.
yeah, original names and dead names, all kinds of things.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
We don't even know the real you.
Please continue to submit those questions. We'll be happy to answer. With that said, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace out.
Peace.